So I had a moment where we're getting out of a contract with promotional company, and we thought that we had in the contract that we could fight on other promotions. We could even put on our own promotions. And once we started to get out of that contract, it was you have to sit still. If you have a fight with that company, that extends your contract with the company. That face right there, that's what at some point every fighter is gonna have that face because they aren't told what real boxing is. You know what I'm saying?
A sit still clause.
Basically, that's what it amounts to.
So you couldn't fight.
I couldn't fight
at all.
So to the point where when my dad, I told him I wanted to turn pro. He said, "All right, number one, you can't have a job. You have to put all your focus, all your energy in the boxing. You can't do that if you got a 9 to 5." He said, "No women, no babies." And so those were the ground rules that my dad laid out. Right. So 2011 to 2012 is almost an entire 365 days. I have 0 fights. At that point in time, I think I was fighting in like 6-round fights. And so you can imagine what the paychecks that I had already gotten were like. They weren't enough to really sustain me.
Right.
So when I talk about patience, my dad was going and he was trying to put on fights. And then every time we thought we were going to get on the show, I'm training like I'm about to fight. These are real training camps. And then our lawyer calls and says, "Hey, yellow light, red light, don't do it." And I went from this roller coaster ride of I'm about to fight to no you're not, I'm about to fight to no you're not. Ooh. Oh, meanwhile I gotta take care of myself.
How frustrating is
meanwhile,
that?
I gotta need gas, I need to feed myself, and I got to a point where and then of course I'm a young man, so I'm starting to look at my dad twisted, and he's saying keep training. I'm like, for what?
Yeah,
I ain't gonna fight. You know what I mean?
I don't fight. I can't imagine. That's hard.
I remember not literally saying something to my dad, but probably giving him a look like I was fed up.
Right.
And he looked at me. And it had been about 9 months at this point. I mean, I'll tell you how far down I am. I'm this how far down I am. I had I'm a very loyal person, aren't I?
Yes, you are.
I'm loyal with everything.
Right.
So I got this one gas station that I go to, and I put this card in, and I get points. I put this card in, and I get points every time that I go to this gas station. Lo and behold, I'm down to almost nothing in my bank account. I start using this card to get food.
Wow.
I'm eating gas station food almost every single day
on the points
near the end of this whole thing. That's how bad it got for me.
This is what I'm talking about.
Patience wear thin. I'm starting to look at my dad twisted. My dad looks at me and he says, and he's mad and he's emotional and I'm not. He says, you need to go on and start looking for a job. This is the man that told me I couldn't have a job.
Right.
He could see the way this thing was going. He didn't know how long.
He was just trying to occupy your time so you can not feel stressed and have little things to snack on or whatever.
He looked at me. He said, "You might as well go find a job because you don't want to train because you don't know when you're going to fight. It doesn't matter that you don't know when you're going to fight. I'm working on it." It was a big thing between us because I started looking at him like he wasn't doing his job.
Right.
He's doing his job.
Right.
And back to the patience thing. It took patience on my behalf to understand that he's doing his job. To patience on his behalf to not bow down and just say, "All right, yeah, we'll have a fight. My son needs to eat."
Right.
And so I got to the point where I actually started putting in some applications. Yeah. And then guess what? When they started asking me about resume, I'm like, I don't got no resume. They're like, "All right, we'll call you. I'm going into these interviews like shaking and stuff.
They're like, you fight people for a living, but you're afraid to turn this application in.
So I had somebody call me, right? They said, "We want you to come in for this last part of this interview." It was I was realistic with myself. I applied for things I could do.
Right.
So I applied to a lot of hotels to clean the rooms and stuff like that.
Right.
I know I could clean, you know what I mean? And I'm sorry to make this story so long, but I go in for the interview and the guy says to me, he says, "We really want to hire you. We're short staffed. You look young. You look like you need something. Why did you apply for this job?" And I'm choked up. I was like, "Man, to be honest with you, I'm a professional boxer and I haven't been able to fight and I just need something.
Right.
I really don't even know how long I'm going to work here. I'll be honest with you. I don't know how long I'm going to work here, but I need something because I don't have anything." And the guy was looking at me. He says, "I believe you. I believe the story. I don't know you, but you seem so stand up, last thing I need from you is a resume.
Don't have a resume.
I said, God damn it, they all been asking me for a resume. I looked at him again with the most sincere face. I said, listen.
I don't have one.
My resume is on YouTube.
You didn't say it for real.
I said, if you want to look on YouTube right now. I said, I'll be honest with you.
My resume's on YouTube.
I said, I have no work experience. I've never had a job before, but I am on my last leg and I just need a job.
Right.
I said, my resume is on YouTube. You can look me up. I got interviews on there. I work hard. That's what you know. All you need to know about me. And I promise you, the guy was going to hire me, and a week later, they came through and said, hey,
you got to fight.
No, they said, hey, the promoters, they're gonna accept the payment that we've offered to them, and that was like the first moment of mine where I understood like what true patience is and what true faith is.
Right.
And kind of my telling that whole story just to tell you guys, like, for me, you see an amazing athlete, or you see a great boxer, you see somebody with heart and will and determination and all that, speed, skill, If I wasn't put in some of the positions that I've been put in as a young man, I wouldn't have the integrity. I wouldn't have the determination. I wouldn't have what it takes to have gotten off of that. Have gotten up and told Errol Spence, "Let's go."
That's right.
Once he hit me with what looked like a devastating punch.